Imola, where the Romans first settled in 82 BC and where the gladiators are once again back in town. Stick a flake in it, Lewis Hamilton has pole number 99 in his career. The challengers are queuing up behind him. The eventual champions won the second race of the season 4 times in the last 5 years. Who wins out today?
It's the braking's the key thing. Remember, they start the race with 110 kilograms of fuel as well, so that also hindered.
Oh, there's the Ferrari.
Round.
There's the Ferrari at Acqua Minerale of Charles Leclerc spinning around and luckily not going into the gravel on the formation lap.
So he hasn't really lost too many places there, has he? He hasn't dropped to the back. If he drops to the back, he's obliged to stay there. And there he goes.
He's going to overtake Gasly now.
He can do that now. So all clear then for Charles Leclerc. So let's keep an eye on Pierre Gasly then in 5th place on the full wet tyre.
It's lights out and away we go. Verstappen gets an excellent reaction. Hamilton, though, is ahead of Perez, but not for long, as Max Verstappen now on the inside joins Hamilton in battle. It is Hamilton and Verstappen. Verstappen and Hamilton wheel to wheel going into the field of the Tamburello chicane. Hamilton is forced wide and he's lost a little bit of bodywork as well. Sergio Perez is in third place at the moment, looking to make it into second. The rest covered in a blanket of spray. Verstappen leads the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix from Lewis Hamilton. The 2 championship protagonists came together at the first braking point.
That was absolutely exceptional driving there. Verstappen, the Red Bulls did get off the line, but Lewis tried to brave it out around the outside and ran out of road in these conditions, and Max is entitled to take the line.
I don't know if I've got damage. He pushed me right wide in turn 1.
This time last year, it was his teammate Valtteri Bottas who ran over debris and picked up damage. Hamilton has got bodywork damage on his Mercedes. As we're looking now at car number 55, Carlos Sainz, 8th place at the moment. He's made up 3 places at the start of this race, and he, like his teammate Charles Leclerc, goes wide at Acqua Minerale, and that's a spinning Williams of Nicholas Latifi going out at Acqua Minerale. Well done, he's kept the engine running, and he's not got beached in the gravel. Verstappen leads Hamilton, leads Leclerc going over the grass now. Is his teammate Sainz. Perez is 4th, Ricciardo 5th, then Gasly, Sainz, Stroll, Norris and Bottas.
Yeah, the Ferrari's really struggling to fire the tyres up, aren't they? So Gasly...
And that is Nicholas Latifi in the Williams, and he is out. As you can see, going into the barrier, and that is a pretty hefty shunt into the wall.
So he's applied the throttle coming out of Acqua Minerale and obviously lit the rear axle up.
So watch Verstappen here. Great reaction, was already pointing towards his teammate Sergio Perez, and then a gap opened up for him on the left-hand side of Lewis Hamilton's Mercedes, and we now head into the Tamburello chicane, and 2 into 1 doesn't often go, and it didn't.
In those conditions, I can't imagine that the stewards are going to be wanting to look at that with Verstappen having to brake so early, because nobody knows how much grip there is. Yeah, he took the racing line, and I do not believe that will be looked at, need to be looked at by the stewards.
Well, Hamilton either had to back off or stay there and risk picking up some damage.
The floor will be damaged as well, because he's gone over the extra yellow curbs there.
So that was Perez getting out of shape, and this is how Charles Leclerc managed to get past the other Red Bull at the Variante Alta. Leclerc then, after his misadventures on the formation lap, up to 3rd place. Nicholas Latifi going off where Leclerc went off on the formation lap, rejoins, and in a few hundred meters time, out of the race. So we saw Latifi going off, and he's made contact there.
Oh, that was a big impact, wasn't it? Right, that's not Mazepin's fault.
Well, he had nowhere to go.
No.
If it had gone any further right to stay out of the way of the Williams, he's on the grass himself. Oh, and that is Mick Schumacher at the exit of the pit lane. Schumacher is also in a bit of bother and a bit of difficulty. He's kept the engine running. He's now got the whole of the lap to get back to the pits, where they'll be waiting for him with a new front wing. I say he was warming his tyres up.
Oh dear.
And lost it. Wow. That front wing might just have been made in Italy, but that's not really what the sponsors would have wanted to see heading towards their hoarding.
He was giving that plenty of lateral movement, wasn't he, young Mick there?
Perez. I wonder why he was trying to overtake a couple of cars.
Yeah, but he's gone off. I don't know why he thought he could then pass cars under safety car conditions. He then recovered his position, but he'd lost position out on track. So I would have thought that's against the regulations.
10-second time penalty is being
painful.
applied to Sergio Perez for overtaking while the safety car is deployed.
It's Max's job to control the pack, let the safety car get far enough away before he lets the car go, and there he is, he's off.
So, Verstappen, Hamilton, Leclerc, Perez, Ricciardo, we're racing again here at Imola, and it's a decent start for Max Verstappen, but Hamilton is right on his tail, and I wonder, is Hamilton going to have a little go if he can into the chicane? They came together on the opening lap. This time around, Hamilton is just a little too far back to make the move on Verstappen. He slots there into second place. There's Daniel Ricciardo in fifth, with Pierre Gasly behind him in sixth, Lance Stroll in seventh, and then comes Carlos Sainz, eighth for Ferrari at the moment. Out in front, though, Verstappen has survived the safety car restart.
And Leclerc looking racy, considering how many dramas he's had, hasn't it? Absolutely amazing. Having a look up the inside of Lewis Hamilton there. And I do think that front wing damage of Hamilton's will impact even in the wet conditions in terms of his balance and his downforce.
Carlos Sainz is up to seventh in the other Ferrari. He's just overtaken Lance Stroll, who's dropped down into eighth place, and Carlos Sainz is not done yet with the overtaking. He's moved up 2 places on this lap and now sits in sixth after getting past Pierre Gasly. Hamilton's struggling, isn't he?
Yeah, Lewis had a moment, ran wide there, and that's put Leclerc right on his back again. So Lewis running just a bit wide on the exit of Aqua Minerale, having to tiptoe through that next phase.
Gasly's back ahead of Sainz. Great duel going on between the Ferrari and the AlphaTauri. Sainz is now back ahead of Gasly again. They're swapping places on this rain-soaked track here in Imola this afternoon. But out in front, Max Verstappen is putting clear daylight between himself and Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton under pressure from Charles Leclerc behind him. And we get now to the long straight down towards the Tamburello chicane. How much straight line speed has that Ferrari got of Charles Leclerc? Can he get any closer to Lewis Hamilton? Verstappen then leads as Norris gets ahead of Stroll, and behind, well, no speed there for the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz. He's trying to get past Pierre Gasly. That's not going to happen. Getting in on the act is the McLaren of Lando Norris. Gasly first into the chicane ahead of Norris. Then comes Carlos Sainz. Then comes the Aston Martin of Lance Stroll. And then comes Valtteri Bottas in the Mercedes. Right, let's ride on board with Lando Norris then. Down the straight, see the Aston Martin. He's got past at the beginning of the straight there, and it's a good job they've got the old rain lights going, as Lando Norris can see which way he needs to go, and he was very close, wasn't he, to the pit wall there as he got past 2 cars down that straight. Valtteri Bottas struggling for grip. George Russell right behind him. We're looking now at Daniel Ricciardo, and there's Ricciardo's teammate Lando Norris, and Norris and Gasly really going for it here. Norris is up to 6th place. Gasly will try and fight that back, but I don't think he's going to manage it in the braking zone. No, he's not. Right, that's the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz and the AlphaTauri of Pierre Gasly, and that's Sainz then up into 7th place now. He's starting to get a few more places back through Piratella and down towards Aqua Minerale.
Yeah, and Gasly's tyre choice is not now looking right, is it?
George Russell up into the points in the Williams. He's managed to get past Pierre Gasly now. Remember, Russell was running 10th here last year for Williams as well. Well, he's running 10th at the moment in these tricky conditions on lap 13 of this Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. And now Giovinazzi fancies getting past, if he can, the AlphaTauri. No, nothing doing at this moment.
Yeah, AlphaTauri dreaming of a little bit more rain, and they've talked themselves into really hanging on to the wrong tyre here.
Giovinazzi on the inside at Tosa makes the move, and now Yuki Tsunoda, who started last in this race, is now alongside his teammate as well. You'd think that AlphaTauri would know the weather in this part of Italy better than anyone else. Their factory at Faenza just 10 miles down the road, and on the road at the moment, Tsunoda past Gasly. Ocon's looking for a way past as well. He's going to have to sit tight for a moment, whilst out in front, the gap now 4.2 seconds between Verstappen and Hamilton. Now, Carlos Sainz, who has had huge adventures so far.
How many mistakes I'm going to do?
You are too quick, guy. Calm down.
He's locking the front as he did down into Rivazza as well.
Daniel, we want to swap positions. We need to see Lando's pace in clear air. We need to see Lando's pace in clear air.
That's going to go down well. I'd imagine Daniel might not speak English there for a little while.
Sorry, radio's playing up.
Now, here he goes, letting it through on the way up to Piratella. So, good team play, and now Lando needs to show what he can do, and I'm sure if he doesn't scamper off into the distance, they'll swap them back again.
Carlos Sainz very much catching Daniel Ricciardo and is going for the overtake at the Tamburello chicane, and he's got the overtake done as well. Sainz in the Ferrari, and McLaren told us this morning that Ferrari had a pace deficit in a straight line to the McLaren. Certainly didn't look like it in those conditions.
Yeah, so I was just listening to Vettel's radio, and he says now it's the time for slicks. He's feeling that his car's now performing well, the tyres are in their happy place, so it's any moment soon.
And he's setting personal bests as well, and they're getting interested, Martin, down at the Red Bull garage as well, with that gap now 1.9 seconds between Verstappen and Hamilton. Are they both going to come in, I wonder?
Yeah, who's going to blink first?
Max, thoughts on conditions?
Yeah, well, if the slicks are not better, then what do you want me to do? It's getting very dry, that's for sure, but one line.
And he does not. He does pit. He does pit. Will Lewis follow him in? No.
Interesting. They sit impassively in the Mercedes garage looking at their monitors. There was never any doubt that they were going to keep Lewis Hamilton out. Verstappen first to blink.
They've gone for the overcut. They're hoping that while Max is getting up to speed on his tyres, Lewis can go faster.
He's in.
Hey, Bert, let's go for it, Lewis. Let's go for it. You've got one lap.
This one needs to be perfect, Mercedes, but they know that. He's very slow into the box, very steady, a little slow on the front. Oh, he's got to wait for the Alfa Romeo to pass. Giovinazzi passes. It's a scrubbed set of medium tyres. I'm not sure that was a bit slower than it should have been.
It was 4 seconds, Martin.
Yeah, the right front seemed to be a while going on, and that's released Verstappen. He was quicker in the middle sector anyway on his out lap than Hamilton was on his in lap.
You'll see Verstappen coming up right now. Hamilton gets to the end of the pit lane. Oh, it's almost like Tokyo Drift as he tries to get the power down, but the Red Bull goes through, and Hamilton, had he been a second quicker, stationary, might just have been able to take the lead properly in this race. Penalty for Perez.
Yeah.
And trying to work out who's lapped, who's on the lead lap. Well, everyone has been lapped so far by the race leader, down to Valtteri Bottas, who is in 9th place. Oh, and sliding off the road goes the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton.
Oh,
and I
Lewis.
think he might be, unless he can find reverse, and he's kept the engine running. This is absolute disaster for Lewis Hamilton.
Broken front wing anyway, of course, unfortunately. But yeah, he needed reverse before he needed first there. I mean, these cars have got horrendously poor steering lock on them because the front tyres are so wide. The exact opposite to a London taxi, for example. And Lewis's pace had been sensational on the previous lap.
So whilst Verstappen carries out on in front, extending his advantage metre by metre, Hamilton is sat trying to escape from the gravel trap and the runoff road and just try and find a way out of this situation.
Yeah, he realises, I mean, it's effectively a front-wheel drive car right now, isn't it, as he reverses out. Smart thinking. He put so few revs on. He knows that as soon as you spin the wheels, you start digging yourself into the gravel, and away he goes, but he's going to need, of course, a pit stop.
So you can see the damage there to the front wing. Lewis Hamilton, who has had, 50 consecutive points finishes, and we're going to get a safety car now, because that's Valtteri Bottas and George Russell, who are out of this race, and they look like they've had a big coming together as well. And they've red flagged the race. They've red flagged the race while we watch Lewis Hamilton sliding off, and this is what caused him to damage his front wing. The race has now been red flagged.
So sorry, guys.
Yeah, no sweat.
On board with George Russell, who hits Bottas. Yes, because he gets onto the grass. So he's going for the overtake, gets onto the grass, gets a tank slapper, runs straight into Bottas.
You can hear the you could hear the engine revs go up. Massive impact. Once again, we're seeing the integrity of the front of the chassis extraordinarily strong and effective. Oh,
Max Verstappen, what's happened there? just trying to light up his tyres somewhat on the entry into Ravazza, and a trip to the grass that wasn't part of the playbook. So,
Ooh, that was a lucky one, Max.
it was, and he retains the advantage, stays out in the lead, very nearly got caught right before the end of the lap before we go racing again. And finally, after this safety car restart, after the red flag, we can go racing again, and Lando Norris is wasting no time whatsoever, getting stuck into some racing. He's got past Charles Leclerc and up into second place. Verstappen leads from Norris, then comes Leclerc, Perez, Sainz and Ricciardo, and going off at the back it's Yuki Tsunoda. Tsunoda, who's made up 10 places in this race, is now going to see all that good work come to an end in the space of 600 metres down to the first corner at the restart.
That is one of those horrible, painful, slow spins, really. But he does get away, and the track is now clear. It's not an easy track to overtake, and we know the Mercedes is not always the best car at overtaking. Somebody else has been off.
And I think it was round about here as well, and I think that car is parked at the side of the track as well. Not quite sure who it is at the moment. Sergio Perez. Sergio Perez off into the gravel, as you can see. Oh, Perez, who was sat in fourth place and looking to put some pressure on Charles Leclerc, has just overcooked it at the Villeneuve chicane, and he has tumbled all the way down to 14th place.
He just got a little bit wide. Left rear tyre dipped on.
Yeah. No damage.
Yeah, he just got a little bit wide, and the left rear tyre dipped into the damp part of the track. Oh dear, Sergio.
That then promotes those behind him. Sainz and Ricciardo, Stroll, Hamilton, Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, Alonso, all up into an improved points position. Now DRS is available for Lewis Hamilton. They've extended it this year, give him another 200 metres to try and get past Stroll. Into the chicane he goes. Stroll's going to make this hard. Hamilton hangs on in there and gets past Lance Stroll, moves up into sixth place. They got very, very close, the Mercedes and the Aston Martin, but they kept it fair. And Hamilton now into sixth place. Now he needs to charge after Daniel Ricciardo. And the Red Bull looks a very fine machine this season, it really does. Now here comes Hamilton, trying to get as far up the order as he possibly can. Wow. He's managed to clear Lance Stroll, and he's managed to clear Daniel Ricciardo, and that looks a bit easier than the overtake on Lance Stroll, to be honest. The DRS working well for Mercedes.
Has he got DRS? I think Lewis has again, hasn't he? Look, side by side.
As
Where
through
are they?
goes Leclerc, and ahead goes Hamilton.
And Leclerc, of course, is in DRS, or occasionally, anyway, on Lando Norris.
This is how Hamilton managed to get past Carlos Sainz then.
Yeah, it's a bit too powerful today, isn't it, that DRS?
Happy with that, Lewis? Let's get after it, mate.
Leclerc looks a little bit more than a second behind now, doesn't he?
He does. And I think, you know, without DRS for Leclerc, that obviously will help Lewis Hamilton. Let's see as we get to the line. Who's got the DRS this time?
Oh,
and
yeah.
It is not Charles Leclerc, and it is Lewis Hamilton. And is this what Hamilton needs to blast past that Ferrari? It very much is what he needed to blast past that Ferrari. Lewis Hamilton is back up into the podium places. Is Hamilton this time around close enough? And he does look to be an awful lot closer. And once again, Norris makes him go the long way round, but Hamilton was close enough, under braking to get alongside and ahead, and he does move himself up into second place. It's Verstappen from Hamilton. The charge from Hamilton is taking him to the runners-up place. In Bahrain, it was Hamilton who took the honours. Today, he's going to finish as runner-up to a man who's never won in Italy before, who DNF'd in all 3 races in Italy last year, and who wins the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix this afternoon. Max Verstappen, for the first time in his career, takes victory in Italy, and it was a victory by a long, long margin.
Yeah, it was very challenging out there, especially in the beginning. It was very hard to stay on track, to be honest. It was very slippery. And then, of course, with the tires degrading in the wet, and then choose the right moment to go into slicks is never easy. So I think we managed everything well. Then, yeah, a little moment in my restart.
Yeah, that was so close.
But yeah, and everything else went really well today. So, of course, very happy with that.
What a season in prospect. This is turning into something special, I think. certainly for Max Verstappen. Great recovery drive from Lewis Hamilton. Wonderful drive from Lando Norris to make amends after his disappointment in qualifying yesterday. And a victorious drive from Max Verstappen. Surely not the last we'll see this year. Hamilton leads the championship by 1 point. Let's bring on round 3. I can't wait for that.